was gone, and that was his hugest draw. That's how he, so now he had to focus on the other thing that he had going that was, successful for him, and that's the GTA stuff. And now that's pretty much all he really
What
like kind of
what happened to
focuses on.
OME then? Is OME not a thing?
They were sued repeatedly over and over again because of, uh, you know, predators and pedophilia and weirdos and shit. They didn't have the management and the infrastructure or whatever to properly deal with those people and get them out. So they were dealing with lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit, and they finally decided, fuck it, we're just going to shut it down because it's too much trouble. And so that's basically what happened. And then that killed like even Bear Anger used to make like really funny Omegle videos and stuff. That's actually how I first some of the first Bear stuff that I've ever watched was like I watched those the Dr. Weasel or whatever in the Sonic ones. I watched those with my kids and they're laughing their ass off. They love that shit. But now we're all just
What
kind of
is it?
stuck in the GTA thing, and I'm feeling it too. Like I'm burnt, man.
I'm burnt too. I'm honestly, it's getting hard for me to go in there anymore because ever since Red Light, I kind of just got burnt. And
And I
then I
think
started
that's
going to different places and it just,
you're right, and that was a big thing as well. Like Bear Anger doesn't even really want to do GTA anymore because he the same thing. Like
Hey,
what?
careful.
I think he was talking to
Find the
someone else. I
key.
don't know.
See if it unlocks that door.
Anyways, like so, I think Bear put his all his eggs in the
Unlock
red
that
light
door.
basket,
Let's
like a
get
lot
out
of us
from here.
did, right? And here we are thinking, great, now we've got this great server, we can create content and hang out with friends, and it'll be, we don't have to wade through all the public servers with the toxic people. And once that fell apart, um,
Find the key.
yeah,
See if it unlocks
that was
that
just
door.
kind of like, oh, great. Like nobody really
Yeah.
wants to do.
Well,
Like,
I
unless you have
mean,
a mod menu and you're intentionally trolling these people, like, I don't want to go to public servers. I
See if it
belong in
right.
a
unlocks that
pixel,
door.
a no pixel type server because of my level of RP. However, because I'm crass and my sense of humor is
I'm
all
on your
fucked,
side.
I would never fit in there. So the only audience I do fit in is with, you know, Crown and Cheeto and
Did you find
Max
the
and them.
key?
But like
See if it
even then,
unlocks that door.
like I'm not a troll like that. I don't use menus, so I'm kind of stuck in this weird gray area. I don't know.
I think for 1 month you should do an exclusive modding month, and you should just go into public service and me and you and just fuck shit up and
I
have a
would,
good
but
time. Uh,
what do you mean?
that was my idea first. I
Are
thought
you
about
already
that
live or
earlier.
what? Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine.
You mean you didn't tell us you went live? You just decided to do that? That's kind of fucked up, dude. We were talking about some personal shit that should not be aired. But you should have said, "Hey, I'm gonna try this real fast," so we could start talking about something else because that was kind of personal. That's that off stream stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fine. Again, like, I, any of this is just my personal opinions and all this stuff. I wouldn't. I don't feel like I'm talking like shit about anyone or whatever. So.
Yeah, because those kind of opinions should stay between. Yeah, yeah. Please, if you have to, because that stuff's really personal. To like, it's not something you just want. You know what I mean? Just in case. Just in case. You don't have to delete it. If you know how to edit, right? Don't get like that. I don't want you to lose it, especially if you get good shit. Oh, I thought about going live, but once we started talking deep, I didn't say nothing because we were talking deep, and I'm like, okay, I can't record that. Um, You were being sneaky, you son of a bitch. You were trying to record the conversation. You're gonna blackmail us. You're gonna hold us and say, look, these guys like booty holes, and I have the proof right here.
No, I didn't say anything that I wouldn't actually talk directly to the people who I'm talking about to,
But people can
and at the end of
misperceive
the
things,
day,
and then it
they
becomes an issue.
yeah, I mean no disrespect, and I don't mean you know, like these are just my opinions and the way I feel about things. So
Then
See, I
fire it up,
remember.
Soren.
Unlock that door.
Now I said I remember how I
Let's make
met.
this episode about talking shit about everybody.
wait, I want to hear
Oh.
what Weagle's got to say.
Now I said I remember how I got a hold of Max's stream. Somebody come in there and posted his YouTube channel with other streamers.
See if it unlocks that
Chat,
door.
and then that streamer got mad and blocked it real fast. But I got the name and I went over to Max, and that's when I met Sheep and Bear. The same.
Unlock that door and let's get out.
Yeah,
of here.
Max seems to be the center point of everybody meeting everybody else. It's pretty cool.
I can't remember how I actually
It's
like,
like
the
the
first time I
lamppost.
met Bear or how that happened, but I know it was through Max.
Well, obviously because they're friends. I mean, that would make sense. I mean, that's how I found out about Bear.
That door.
You know, but Max seems to be the peer pressure and the drug that we all take equally.
Well,
He got us all to get high on the same
yeah,
thing.
like things were super different back then. Like it wasn't even that long ago, but looking back, like he was so much more willing to, you know, collaborate and be creative with his characters and do actual like role play stuff. Like remember when he was the grandma and then he was like, you know,
See if it unlocks
hey,
that door.
you know, why don't you come in and be the lawyer or whatever? Like just impromptu out of nowhere, and I come in and do that, and like that type of stuff was really cool. Or when we did the news thing or whatever.
See if you can unlock that door.
You won't see him do that anymore, right? You know, like I don't know.
You can't blame him though. He's got a lot going. He's got a kid and everything too. He's got to juggle a lot of stuff around. So it could, he might be going through things. You never know what he's going through. That's why I think I love Max, and I always will. I always will. But you can never tell what something's going on with somebody in their head or emotions. But I can tell something's going on because it affects them really bad. So
Unlock that door.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope he's all right.
Want to hear something funny?
Sure.
I watched Sheep's channel for like a month. It didn't say a word in chat. I just popped in here and just stayed in there and watched all the content.
Let's get out of here.
And I didn't say a word.
Let's get out of here before the dragon brings power
Is
down
that
on
like
our heads.
when I started streaming, or just the videos or whatever? I guess it must have been streaming, right?
You were streaming. I kept popping in there. I subscribed to you. Then I seen the thing, and I joined you for like a month before I started talking in the chat.
Now look at you, right in here, freaking balls deep in it. That's awesome.
It's the first time I've been on Discord with a streamer like this.
That's nice. You guys know Aidster, right?
Yep.
Well, before I met Mike, Aidster was kind of the Mike, right? Like he knew who I was. I didn't really know that at first, and it just kind of organically I met him or whatever. But he was like super shy, super scared to engage or talk or role play or whatever. And
See if you can find any power.
eventually,
We'll need them.
I don't know why I was drawn to him, like, or Opie was or whatever. We just kind of gelled and whatever, and then we started making videos. Like, I don't even think he realized that, like, a lot of that was being recorded at the time or whatever, but
Done.
yeah, it started growing from there, and then I was like, you know, like that type of thing enriches me more because it gives me more to work with. It gives me, like I was saying, you know, there's connections that I'm actually looking for that are meaningful, and so like that's why I'm always like genuinely like, hey, if you guys want to join me in the role play, this and that, like, come on and join. And because well, I haven't run into the problem of some troll toxic idiot who comes just to fuck with me yet, and I assume as I grow that'll happen. But for now, anyways, it's nice to have like you guys who are like Mike, for example, when we first met too. Like same thing, scared to be confident and be himself, and now he's in there talking shit and making jokes and doing his thing, and you know, it's like it's awesome.
In this cage.
So that
Yeah, I'm still nervous all the time though.
Like, you know,
We might need that gold.
just to get in there and like help you guys grow and elevate each other and stuff, you know.
Yeah, you know what? If I ever just when I'm streaming, if I ever get to where I have like 20, 30, or 40 people in my chat, I'd be happy right there. I'd never care anymore because that's like I see how it is right now with like you and Bear, and I see how like doing fight nights and stuff, and how it feels so personable. But if you get like 200 people in there, you're not even going to answer half the people unless everybody's donating. You know, there's so many comments are going too quick. Shit gets missed. You know, and next thing you know, you got your. It's just the whole thing, and it's like, yeah, it's cool to be bigger and all, but I agree too what you said earlier, Sheep. But you just lose that connection, people, and
Yeah,
next thing you know,
and
it's just a
that's
comment
something,
reading session
and
or
that's
a
something that
payment reading
I
session.
genuinely like. I genuinely value that, and that's why I try my best. And to be honest, that it's already become that, and that's why like it's so nice that Podge steps up. It's so good that Destructo's in there. Like, oh, you missed this donate. Oh, this guy missed a spin. That like this that. And they're helping me with that. Um, because of my ADD and my ODD and my FASD, like I'm fucked. I'm all kinds of fucked up. Like it's amazing that I can even function at all. But with you guys behind me helping elevate me, you know what I mean? Like that's what keeps this shit going, and it's already gotten to a point where like the text file is so huge. Like it's a lot. There's a lot of moving parts here and there, and I'm starting to like struggle to keep up with it all, right? And we're gaining new members and this and that, and I kind of see what you're talking about, Puppy Love. But I think if we lean on each other and we help each other, that's where the strength lies, and elevate each other. Like I would love to see you really come into your own and start with the streaming, and because I know that that's something you're passionate about and you want to do. Tony, for example, too. Tuttle, you know, we're all at different stages of growth or levels of whatever, but we all have something to offer each other to help. And that's the real like true part of community, right? Like I can't do this all on my own. I don't think anybody could be successful without help from someone.
I think we should start our own, like, I don't want to keep using community for everything because then it gets like stretched out, but some kind of like a community thing for our RP. How like we talked about getting us together, we can make scenes happen with just a handful of our friends without having to run into randoms and stuff, you know.
I've had that like this on the same
An episodic feature.
wavelength that you're thinking. Me and Tuttle have been talking, and or other people, they're like, oh, we need to make your own server and this and that. And I'm like, okay, well, you guys don't realize just how much that is. I can't run.
I do.
I can't maintain my Discord, my administrative person, like networking with other people, collaboration, doing my YouTube videos, editing, live streaming. Like, there's no way I could run a server on top of that. Like, I know why Max was just like, I'll throw money at it, but you guys deal with it. Like, because it makes sense, right? However, if we could get something simple as like joining the Discord call like this with a group of people who are dedicated to going in, I do like the idea of like, why do we need to go around to these e-thugs and these toxic idiots and these random servers trying to get content when there's more than enough willing people to share and create stories and this and that? They just may be like, like Aidster or you when you first like they're unsure of themselves, or they're
like an episodic feature. We do episodes.
We just need to elevate them into.
And it's the same characters you know and love that you get to see them like interact daily. Well, I mean weekly, whatever, daily, however you look at it. But every episode is a different thing, and it continues the story, and we add on to it. So it's like watching a series. I believe in that wholeheartedly. That's possible when we have enough people to start it, and we can bring other people in as it goes, like people that they debut on the show, or they this and that. Like, it's still on the same lines of me thinking about that animated thing I told you about, but it can be done this way, which is what everybody's used to watching anyways, except the RP will be better, and there won't be all that negative bullshit other than RP negative bullshit,
Yep, and that's kind of why I was really hoping that Kudos, because the owners of Kudos have been very facilitating. They're like, if you need anything, if you if you have any ideas for scenarios, this and that, we'll help you. We'll get you going. And anytime, the main problem there was is that 2 of the 3 owners were wanting to change the server because it's stagnating, and like Max said, it's filled with NPCs that just want to sit around and do nothing. And like, I had horrible experience when I first joined there. I was like treated like I had the fucking plague, and everybody was like, "Leave me alone." You know that whole Red Dead experience. Leave us alone. We're busy. It's like you're standing around doing nothing. Tuttle had the same experience, and it wasn't until the admins came in and like talked to the players that they started treating us differently. Anybody else who I invited there had the same experience of getting treated like shit. So what we need is some like a server where people will facilitate us like that, but not filled with, you know, toxic, clicked up, tribalistic, you know.
Feeling lucky.
So it like so
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get off.
it does kind of come down to like we need a safe place that we can actually do this, you know.
Yep.
So
I'm gonna go ahead and get off here. It's nice talking to you all.
You too, buddy.
did
I'll
we
see
get
you all
too
in
deep
the
for you,
chat.
Weagle?
No, it's almost midnight here.
All right, man, take it easy. Sorry for ranting in your ear like that.
Nah, last couple weeks I've been stressed out big time.
Yeah, man. I don't mean to like vent at you guys and dump all my stress and shit. It's just I rarely get to talk candidly about how I feel about all this behind the scenes, like quote unquote political stuff. So like to have you guys be receptive and listen while I kind of do that, it's I appreciate it. Thank you. So
No,
and I'm sorry
yeah,
if I kind of put you off. That's not what I meant
no,
to
it's
do.
not that. No,
Looks like the way out. I knew we'd make it.
no, I got like I say, I've been I had to go get tests done, and so far they come back good. So
Well, that's good.
I mentioned that in the chat that one day that it's the cancer test and shit that
Oh
they
man,
found some abnormal in my blood work. So far, one test come back good, so it's a test that I didn't have it. So
That's good.
now
I still got a few more to go.
all of these problems that I've been complaining about just seem like fucking nothing now, man. I don't know. I don't know what to say other than like that. That must be terrifying for you. I really hope you can get through this. And if you do ever need to be candid and share or talk about all that shit, we're all here for you, buddy.
Like I say, I'm a fighter, you know.
Fucking right you are.
Yeah,
You're my
but
favorite fighter, buddy.
a fighter has to have a support system too to be able to fight, or there's no point in fighting.
Wait.
So just remember that.
At any rate, I hope you have a great night. And yeah, man, it's really nice to have you into the actual chat and
There
be
he
like
goes.
one-on-one with you. You're
Looks
always
like he's
welcome to
gone
come
for
back
good this
anytime you
time.
like.
Yeah, like I say, I'm just a what is it? A couple years underneath you all.
It's going to be swarming with Imperials
Yeah.
soon enough.
I'm 41.
My sister, Gerda,
You're
Yeah.
still over
works for
40.
German Riverworks just up the road.
Yeah,
I'm
be
sure
42 in November.
It's probably best if we split up.
My one kid will be 4, and the other will be 17 in November.
What's your birthday?
The 3rd of November.
Mine's the 4th.
Wow, it's crazy.
My one daughter's the 27th, and the other one is the 29th.
So they're Sagittarius, and we're both Scorpios.
Yeah, I'm gonna go
I
AFK
have
for a minute
family
here. I'll be
that.
right back.
Yeah, I bet you want to go. Hey, nice talking to you all.
You
I know
too,
the
buddy.
Terminator ain't saying much down there.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Like we've been talking, like I've been talking your guys' ears off here and just nonstop, blah 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 blah. So,
I don't care.
well, no, I just
It's
mean
good.
like we didn't give Nathan much of a, you know, like time to get his own input in or whatever. So I kind of feel a bit bad
It's
about
all right.
that.
That's the way I am. I mostly stay quiet.
Well,
He's
one of these
I
times you're
like
gonna have
that.
to share your life, man. We shared a piece of ours. It's time for you. It's your turn. It's a campfire, baby. S'mores and stories.
Yeah, I'm sitting
And
over
we
here
got the
complaining
s'mores.
about
Where's your
like
story?
complaining about all this shit that doesn't like in the big picture doesn't even matter. He's got like real problems and he's just sitting there quietly, stoically listening.
You sit up there, isn't it, Mike? You used to
Yeah.
back in the day. You used to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't the only one.
I used to get drunk and fight all the time.
Oh no, I went
Okay,
the
buddy.
opposite route.
Oh no,
Based,
I I did pro wrestling. I didn't like fight professionally.
Basically fighting hands on.
Huh?
I went hands on, you know, professional
Where?
there for a while.
Did you
Basically, like,
answer? I can't. I couldn't make out what you said. Didn't. What did you say? Did
I
anybody
said,
make it out?
I said that when I was younger, I used to fight too.
Oh, what'd you do?
She basically boxed.
Oh, okay. When I was
But
younger, I
I
used to get picked on until I was in high school, and then I used to fight back after that. But I was always picked on when I was young.
now I called it all quits when an accident happened, and I wanted it all erased.
Well, what's that accident? What's the accident? What happened?
I put somebody 6 foot under.
Oh, did you go to prison?
No, it was an road accident.
Oh, well, that's good. I mean, that's got to be tough on the conscience, though. But that shit never leaves.
Mm-hmm.
But at least you know you didn't. It wasn't like you purposely did it or went out to do it out of your way or meant to do it. So I don't know how do you deal with that, man? Like how have you been since it's happened? I mean, obviously there's got to be times it's a little difficult because I mean I've done stuff that I regret highly, whether it was my fault or not, that I still bugs me to this day. So I can only imagine maybe it's kind of rough. Yeah, I'm sorry,
And
man, that happened.
hold my fist up. It's a big. You know how big of a PlayStation 4 controller is, right?
Yeah.
I can roll my hand up in a fist, and put my hand over a PlayStation 4 controller.
How tall are you? Like 6'7"?
Big motherfucker, holy.
I'm at 6 foot.
That's it?
He's ultimate IRL. I'm actually 6'1", but I'm lanky and like beanpole, you know.
Yeah, but his hands are. Let me see real quick. Hold on a second.
Dude, if you're 6 foot or
I got a
6'1", you
PS5
could
controller
easily
right
put, like,
here.
250 pounds and you know and not be stocky, you know what I mean? So he's probably pretty freaking big.
Well, I'm glad you didn't go to prison. That would suck.
No, basically, I just after it happened, I just basically walked out and I didn't get pretty much. I just gave my last paycheck to the family because I didn't want it.
Did they forgive you?
It was just a friend that had to
Oh,
go.
okay.
I knew him, you know, and his family. He had a couple kids. I didn't at the time, so I figured I just told him to sign the check, my last check over to them, and I ain't talked to him since. But I went through and had the shit locked at him. You know, when you can go through and have what do they call it? You can lock some of your history. If you
Reparations or whatever.
know the right history, you lock it up where nobody can see it. I had all that information locked, basically frozen, and nobody can get it except any of the like police department stuff like that.
So, do you know what they actually know? Do they know that you did it personally, or do they just know somebody did it, or like, I mean, involved? I should say. I'm sorry, my words.
Basically, it was my audience and everything.
The what? I don't hear him if he's talking.
I said the audience was there. You there?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I said there was an audience there.
Oh, okay. Crazy.
Yeah. That's why I said I had my history frozen. And then basically pulled the videos and everything they couldn't show 'em.
Man, I only know like if I went through something like that and had to deal with it. Oh, it's a hard one. I think me, God, it's like do you go and talk to the family and like try to get resolve and shit? I know me, I'd probably end up doing that even if I'm gonna catch heat or something. I think my fucking conscience would drive me nuts. I don't
Tell you
know.
this,
That's a hard one to call.
I'm probably would have been a coward and not been able to face that. You know what I mean? Like
I can't do that myself.
me personally, you know what I mean? Like that takes a whole other level of strength and character to be able to.
Well, if you got to think about it too, though, if you don't, it tortures you the rest of your life. But if you do, there's a temporary time where it's going to affect you that way based off the reactions you get and how the interactions go. But once you get past that little lump, you live better because it's like the weight's gone. You don't have that guilt because you faced that guilt and you gave it your all by saying that you're sorry or however that goes down, whatever speeches you use to get you there. And then even if they don't forgive you or whether they do, however it works, you can move on, turn your cheek and walk the other way and remember that you did that. Because this is what I learned in going a lonely road by myself, being homeless and making bad decisions and fighting when I'm drunk and hurting people and robbing people and shit like that. But like, I went around when I did this lonely road thing, when I started getting in all like religious in a sense, more faithful, like spiritually. But I started learning about to ask for forgiveness, whether you get it or not, because if you do it, you can move past it. And then this way, it gives somebody else the opportunity to forgive, thus gives them releasing the weight off of them, which in turn helps both people move on from that thing that has traumatized them for so long, or for however little that it's been going on.
Oh,
That,
his wife wasn't mad at me at all.
huh?
She wasn't mad at me at all. She didn't press charges or nothing like that. So.
Well, because it was in a fight. I understand. That makes sense. Because it's not like you didn't purposely do it. That was what I was asking. Because I didn't know it was an actual audience. I thought maybe you just got into a fight. So that's why I was curious. But when you said audience, I'm like, okay, that makes sense. There's no reason to have any hate or ill will towards you because it was an honest mistake. And like if someone's going to react to that, they're not that good of a person. You know what I mean? So anybody that has a logical brain or like common sense is going to be like, yeah, that was an accident. So
I can't tell you how much I can. I can't tell you how much I can lift, but I can tell you this: I can lift, a vehicle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say like a '97 Cavalier.
Mm-hmm.
I actually can go in the back of it and put my hands down underneath of it, grab the back of the bumper, and just lift straight up on it.
Bang.
He is the ultimate Weagle.
When Sheep asked me to choose a character, I was like thinking there for a while, and then I told him, I said, I want the Ultimate Warrior.
I've always loved Ultimate Warrior. I don't know. He always stood out from the other wrestlers for some reason. I don't know. He just had like this energy to him. So I don't know.
I was I was a Hogan guy. So when Warrior and Hogan went at it, I was on Hogan's side. I didn't hate the Warrior. It was cool and all, but I just wasn't into him totally. But with Hogan was my child. That's the reason I got into wrestling was because of Hogan, which I assume was a lot of other kids. If it wasn't Rowdy Piper, or if it wasn't freaking
I loved Roddy.
Rowdy. When I found out about Rowdy, so when I was a kid, I didn't watch wrestling, like watch the stuff because we didn't get it on the TV and all that. But I had seen some stuff, and then I knew Hulk Hogan because of movies that I watched, and then I learned that he wrestled, right? And then when I got to it wasn't even 1990, but it was close. I watched like WrestleMania 3 and stuff like that, and I got into it, and that's when I really got all balls for it. But there was a gap in the 90s from the first half, up to when the Attitude Era started that I kind of didn't really watch because, you know, I was out doing things live with friends and stuff, so I didn't spend a lot of time watching TV. And then once the Attitude Era was in its like high point, you know, before it was getting close to changing to Ruthless Aggression Era, that's when from that point on, I stayed tuned all the time and as much as I could. But I always kept up with things, you know. I was a fan, but like when I was like 12, I went to Arc Arena in Sacramento, and I seen Hogan and Macho Man wrestle live. So like I was so excited.
Well, you know
So
Hogan's
excited.
real name, don't you?
Huh?
You know Hogan's real name?
Yeah, Terry Bollea.
I know most of them. Most of them. I know what Sting's name was Steve Borland.
Yeah, that's why he's called Steve Sting.
And
I
actually,
was like Bret Hart because he was Canadian.
I noticed something else. You know the Scorpion Deathlock?
Yeah,
You know what that is, right?
yeah, it's the same move that
Awesome
everybody
grab or
uses.
something, right?
Sharpshooter.
Yeah, you got to remember. Okay, look, there's only really one move set for wrestling. Okay, in the entire history of wrestling since it began, basically 100 years ago or whatever. Okay, I mean it's probably been on longer than that, but like exclusively in modern times. So like you have to look. The move set's grown over time, right? You got to give it that. There's been other things that have kind of been added, but all the basic moves are there. When they teach you how to wrestle, they teach you the basics that have been taught throughout the history of wrestling, and you learn that to get in the ring, like running the ropes, you know, doing rope bumps, like learn how to flip, learn how to take body slams, learn how to take power slams, learn how to jump off top rope, like the basics that you could do a match and do basic moves and you can have a match. And if you tell the story right in the ring and you're entertaining and engaging, the fans will love it and they won't think you're shit. But if you're not, they're going to think it's total shit because you look green. But you could be green and have charisma and they'll fucking forgive you and love it because you're entertaining and that's what they want. But then there's the other part of wrestling fans that want the moves and all the crazy shit, which is what they do nowadays, opposed to like Hogan's era or even the 90s, in 90s and beyond that. Even the 2000s, really, you didn't have a lot of that going on like you do now, you know. The 20s, especially right now, is like a whole new real era. Ever since like late last decade into now, it's kind of like really revved up into this very high gear type of, you know, wrestling. But like the storytelling is what wrestling really is. You can do all the flashy moves you want, right? But if you're not telling a story, not only to build you up to that match, but also while you're in the ring making those moves happen to tell that story, nobody's really going to follow. You might have a great match and people say, yeah, it was a great match. But what's epic is the fact that the story drew them in, got the attention, and you entertained them in the ring, not just because you moved around and did some cool moves, but because you were literally painting a picture or a movie for them for like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes. You know, so the basic moves have always been there. They just take all the moves and they just make them their own. They change the names, they twist them up a little bit. They'll, you know, invert them or whatever, you know what I mean, to make them like their own. Or they get gifted down, like someone has, like for instance, say the pedigree, right? Triple H. Seth Rollins uses it, right? Triple H gave it to Seth Rollins, right? He let him use it because he's like a protege. You know what I mean? It's a Triple H guy. Seth Rollins is like Roman Reigns is a Vince McMahon guy. That's why he got the spear when Edge left. You know what I mean? Stuff like
Well,
that. Like there's, you know what I mean? It's just kind of how it goes. Like Braun Breaker now has the spear, and Roman Reigns has the spear. You know what I mean?
at the end of the day, like there's only so many different types of things
Exactly. Yeah.
you can do, right? So that,
And they just keep like updating them by taking them and twisting them around, doing the basic fundamental, trying to make it their own spin, so it becomes their move. But they pay homage to the originals that performed those moves for the first time. You know, that's the whole point of it.
Let's throw this name out there. Do you know who Kobe Pro is?
No, I don't think so. Unless he has a different
Tatanka.
name. Oh, I didn't know Tatanka's real name.
It's Kobe Pro. He lives here in Berkeley Springs, like another town up from us. He actually
what?
has a. What I said, he has a building up here that he has his wrestling ring and everything in up here, in the
What's
next
his-
town over.
What's his name?
Kobe Pro. It's called
Who-
Kobe Pro Wrestling.
No,
Tatanka.
I thought you said what is his like real name. I thought you said his real name or something.
Oh no, his real name is Kobe Pro.
I
He
thought
goes
his real
by
name
Kobe
was
Pro.
Chris. I thought his real name was Chris Travis or Chavez.
Is it? Well, he owns Kobe Pro Wrestling. He didn't go. He doesn't go by his real name then.
Probably doesn't. Normally they don't. Nowadays it's a thing, but old guys they don't usually go by their real name. That's why you got Hogan, which is Terry Bollea. You have Roddy Piper, which is give me a minute, I'll remember his name. But I believe if you look it up, his name is Chris Chavez, I believe. He was like born I think in 1960 or he was something like that, or is it 60?
He's not even Scottish. Piper.
Piper? No, he has a background. That's why he wears the kilt. He wore the kilt and all that. That's part of his heritage. But no, he's obviously he's American. But if you look back in his story, his roots come from there.
He was my favorite bad guy / heel. You know what I'm. Back then, like you had Hogan and you had Macho Man and you had all these like super, popular good
Big
guys.
personalities, yeah.
I really think that Roddy was the first one that I was just like, I actually want to root for the bad guy. Like he was the first.
He's
one
the
who made
first
me
one
wanna
with
do
the
that,
pipe bomb. He's like the first one, in my opinion. Like for instance, nowadays people have CM Punk, right? And in the 80s and in the 90s, I mean, if you think about it until he died, which I miss him all dearly, but like especially the 80s, he was like the CM Punk of the 80s, and the 90s, I should say too, because he still had his hand in the pot. But if you think about it, he was one of the best on the mic, right? He can cut a promo like nobody else. The man could speak. You could have him do a speech for an hour, and you're engaged, and you never lose a moment because it's just perfect. And then CM Punk's the same way. You can listen to CM Punk talk for an hour, and it's always perfect. He's just really good at coming off the top of his head, and he knows how to speak really good and engage the crowd and get interactive with them. Like CM Punk reminds me of Rowdy Piper, as I would say opposite, both like a mirror. It's like looking at the same person, but just a different perspective, I guess.
I think Stone
One-
Cold Steve Austin kind of feels like the modern, like at least when I stopped watching wrestling, like he felt like the modern Roddy Piper to me.
In a sense, yeah, but he
I
couldn't
don't give a
cut a
fuck how much you
promo
know him.
near. Yeah, he couldn't cut a promo near as good as Rowdy or CM Punk though. Austin was great, and he could cut a promo just fine because it was his popularity, I believe, that carried him across his career. Not only because, like, if you look at his in ring, right, he's not the best in the ring, but he tells a great story. That was my point. Going piggyback off what I said was like he didn't have just like The Rock, right? The Rock, John Cena, Stone Cold, Hulk Hogan, all have shitty movesets, right? They suck. But the thing is, when they're in that ring, they tell a story, so it makes it look awesome because they know how to work the ring, they know how to work their partner, they know how to work the crowd. That's why they're at the top of the company or at the top of the echelon in the mountain, you know what I mean, of wrestling in their time periods because they knew how to take the fans and take their attention and keep it on them. Just by look at Hogan, gets his ass kicked, right? Right? Then he gets up and he starts shaking his head and he starts shaking his arms and he gets up and he goes, "You!" Then he hits you a few times, right? Then he tosses you against the rope. Then he puts his big boot up. Then he runs against the rope and he does the leg drop, right? I mean, and then he pins you and he wins. That's all he fucking does. But he gets his ass beat 3/4 of the match. Look at John Cena, same thing. John Cena, they talk about it's got the six. We used to be the 5 moves of doom. Then he added that one stupid ass fucking punch move thing, and it became the 6 moves of doom. But what does John Cena do, right? He can punch and stuff and kick you a little bit. He added that jumping move off the corner that puts a leg drop on you when you're bent over. He did the sunset flip finally towards like later years now. But for the most of his bulk in his young years when he's 16 times champ, all his moves were get beat up a lot, maybe punch some, maybe backdrop you a little bit, but most of it was come back up like Hogan, do his comeback, and that's where he'd sit there and he'd clothesline all that, and then he'd run against the rope, and then next thing you know, he'd like twist you around, drop you, 5-knuckle shuffle you into an AA, we used to be called an FU, and then he'd fucking pin you and he'd win. And that's the depth of John Cena. Shitty ass moveset. If you look compared to AJ Styles, if you look compared to even CM Punk has a better moveset, but at the same time still kind of shitty, but a better moveset than Cena. But at the same time, Roman Reigns, shitty moveset, but the man can tell a story in the ring. You're engaged because he's fucking phenomenal at it. But if you just watched him and he didn't tell a story, it'd be boring as hell. His matches suck because he doesn't have but a fucking handful of moves. But I guarantee you he makes that look awesome. That's my point. You could have the best skill set in like Will Ospreay. If you knew who Will Ospreay was, he is literally considered to be the best wrestler in the world. I have that on my ballot. He is amazing at what he does. He's getting better at promos now. But he also, the difference is he tells a story in the ring. Same thing with MJF. MJF is a promo cutter. Nobody can do it like him. He's amazing. He's the new Ric Flair, okay? But at the same time, in that ring, he tells a story. And at first, when you watch him, nobody thought he could wrestle. But then all of a sudden, he goes away, he comes back, and he's phenomenal in the ring. But he can cut a promo, and he tells a story. In the ring, he keeps you 100% on him every time. His emotions, his facial expressions, his noises he makes, like everything. So, like, he's the real true exception, like a Ric Flair. They're the top. They're the guys that can do everything all together. They can wrestle, they can entertain, they can fucking cut promos, and that's the rare echelon of the top. Cena fit that. He might have had a shitty moveset, but everything else was top notch. That's why he's on the forefathers on the mountain. You know, Undertaker can't really cut a promo, right? But he can wrestle in the ring and he can tell a fucking story, right? Undertaker is one of the best
It was
at
all
that
Paul
too.
Bearer who did that for him.
No, Paul Bearer was just like, it was his voice for a while until they started letting Undertaker cut promos. And then when they did that, it's because it was years of everybody accepting Taker. You know, and we love you, you're our favorite.
and then they
And when he
that
talks, we
whole,
don't give a
Cain
shit.
and Abel storyline.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's, you know what really, in my opinion, ruined WWF is fucking Vince McMahon. Like his dad treated that like a respectable sport that people like. It wasn't Olympic style, but like it was treated with more legitimacy. You know what I mean? There was a certain level of professionalism to it. It wasn't just soap opera fucking drama. I don't know, man. I really think Vince McMahon kind of, that's when everything started. Like he made it go super popular because of that drama and shit. But then after that, like same thing, like with the streamers we're talking about, like pushed it too far and became just like fucked up storylines. Like he's trying to, like, his brother was trying to hook up with the sister or something like that. They like had this weird shit going on.
Whatever you need.
I don't know.
You remember Superstar Billy Graham?
Yeah.
That's a hell. That's my dad's wrestler. That's his, man. That son of a bitch will bite your damn head.
I remember Bob Backlund when he'd do like the cross-faced chicken wing and all that. Like he had just come off of like Olympics or something, right? Yeah.
That was just my
Different era,
point, though,
right?
is like you could be shitty at it all, but you could be amazing at telling the story, and everybody will love you and accept you. They might talk shit and be like, you don't really do much, but they're not really. But you could have all the moves in the world, have all the talent in the world, but you suck on the mic, and you can't tell worse shit in the ring except flip flopping and flooping everywhere. So that's all. You got me on a passion rant, though.
He'll do that.
You love my wrestling.
Yeah, I kind of fell out of the whole wrestling thing around that time, you know, when I think it was WCW had just, they were kind of like failing or whatever, you know, and didn't they do like crossover with WWE or something like that? They started
No, when
bringing people over,
WWE,
stuff like that.
when
That's kinda like
WWF at the time, when they bought out ECW and WCW, they bought both companies. So then they did a whole storyline of an invasion from. So Stephanie had worked with Paul Heyman, who owned the ECW, who then worked with Stephanie in a story that Stephanie acquired WCW, and then Shane had acquired, ECW, and then Shane acquired WCW, and they had this invasion where like Stephanie and Shane with their wrestlers were working against the WWF wrestlers, and then there was like a few would defect from their side would come over, and a WWF side would come over. They had the whole thing with Stone Cold, like if he was going to join the their faction of them and this and that, and so like it was great. It was fucking awesome. And you know, if you didn't know that they bought him out, they sure made sure you knew that. They was like Vince McMahon gloated that one, and why shouldn't he though? He took out his number one competitor at that time that was actually winning against him, and he took out.
looking for a new blade?
Take a look.
Iron or steel is what you need. Leave that fancy elven stuff to the elves. I can forge you a warhammer that will crush a giant's head like a walnut. Whatever you need. Buy Ysmir if it's simple and strong. I can forge it. You looking for a new blade? Until next time.
Orgnar, are you listening?
Hard not to.
The ale is going bad. We need to get a new batch.
We drink to our youth, to
you hear
days come and gone.
Yep,
The
ale's going
age
bad.
of aggression
I guess you
is
don't have
just
potatoes in your ears
about
after all.
done.
Just make sure we get a fresh batch in soon.
We'll drive out the storm cloaks and restore what we own. With our blood and our steel, we will take back our home. Down with Ulfric, the killer of kings. On the day of your death, we will drink and we'll sing.
You're that visitor been poking around.
Children of Skyrim, and we fight all our lives. And when Sovngarde beckons, every one of us dies. But this land is
I'm the
ours,
innkeeper.
and we'll see it.
We don't
wipe
get a lot of
clean
travelers.
of the scorch
Sure
that
thing.
has
It's
sullied
yours for a day.
our hopes and our dreams.
Give me a mug of ale.
Coming right up.
Give me a mug of ale.
Coming right up. Need a room? Talk to Delphine. Here, take a look at this. Some of the Jarl's men came by. There have been whispers. A boy up in Windhelm, name of Aventus. Have you seen that shrine of Azura? They say the Dark Elves built it after they fled from Morrowind. Sight to see. Lucan at the Riverwood Trader had his store broken into the other night. Oddly enough, barely anything's been stolen. Of course. It's all in this note. Of course. It's all in this note. I'm just the cook, lad. All right then. Huh?
Whatever you need. My spirit is simple and strong. I can forge it. looking for a new blade? Whatever you need. Mighty spear, if it's simple and strong, I can forge it. Stop! Thief!
Did I see you talking to Sven? Maybe not. Maybe. Never mind. But I would stay away from him if I were you. Riverwood's agreeable enough, I suppose. He's a bard, so he says. Thinks his ballads and sonnets are going to convince Camilla Valerius to marry him. As if she would say yes. An intelligent, beautiful woman like her wouldn't fall for that nonsense. I hope. I don't need your jokes right now. Could you give her this letter and say it's from Sven? I think I've matched that Nord's lack of cleverness perfectly.
What the? You looking for a new blade? Looking to protect yourself or deal some damage?
I've been looking for you. Got something I'm supposed to deliver. Your hands only. Let's see here. Ah, a letter from the Jarl. Moving up in the world, eh? Looks like that's it. Got to go.
Whatever
You
you
there.
need.
The
My
Dawn Guard
spirit
is looking for
simple
anyone
and
willing to
strong.
fight against the growing
I
vampire
conform.
menace. What do you say? Ha! Isran's going to like you. Go talk to him at Fort Dawn Guard, southeast of Riften. He'll decide if you're Dawn Guard material.
Looking for a new blade? Not too shabby. Apprentice level work, but solid. Keep at it.
Well, one of us has to do something.
I said no. No adventures, no theatrics.
Be careful.
No. Well, I don't know what you overheard, but take a look. I better get back to cleaning the store. What a mess. The Riverwood Trader is everything you need in a general store. My sister Camilla or I will be happy to help you. Maybe you're looking for something particular. We carry just, yeah, we did have a bit of a break-in, but we still have plenty to sell. Robbers were only after one thing. An ornament, solid gold in the shape of a dragon's claw. You could? I've got some coin coming in from my last shipment. It's yours if you bring my claw back. If you're going to get those thieves, you should head to Bleak Falls Barrow, northeast of town. Yes. So now you don't have to go, do you?
Oh, really? Well, I think your new helper here needs a guide.
No, by the 8, fine. But only to the edge of town.
We have to go through town and across the bridge to get to Bleak Falls Barrow. You can see it from here, though. The mountain just over the buildings. Those thieves must be mad hiding out there. Those old crypts are filled with nothing but traps, trolls, and who knows what.
Shut. Take a look. Ah. Right then.
Nope. Sorry. Nothing.
Good enough.
Oh, well. Must have run
You
off.
look strong. Come to your
Well,
master.
that's
and
taken
be a
care of.
companion.
No thanks to you. Ha! Another milk drinker. Glory. And as companions, our glory must always be hard fought. An outsider, eh? Never heard of the companions? An order of warriors. We are brothers and sisters in honor. And we show up to solve problems if the coin is good enough. Not for me to say. You'll have to talk to Kodlak Whitemane up in Jorvaskar. The old man's got a good sense for people. He can look in your eyes and tell your worth. If you go to him, good luck.
Thinking I need to train some more.
I think... might be sick.
Need a ride? Where do you want to go? Climb and back, and we'll be off. First time to Solitude? Beautiful old city. Capital of Skyrim, but I'm sure you already know.
If you've come to Solitude to join the Legion, speak to Rika. If not, just keep your nose clean while you're here. You'll end up like an orc.
They can't hurt Uncle Rogfear. Tell them he didn't do it.
Positions. Sorry, you need to go home. Go home and stay there until your mother comes.
You betrayed us!
Get on with it!
Traitor! You should tell her that her uncle is scum that betrayed his High King. Best she know now, Advor.
You're all hard, Vivian.
Rogver, you helped Ulfric Stormcloak escape the city after he murdered High King Torring. By opening that gate for Ulfric, you betrayed the people of Solitude.
He doesn't deserve to speak!
There was no murder. Ulfric challenged Thorin. He beat the High King in fair combat. Such is our way. Such is the ancient custom of Skyrim and all Nords.
Boo!
On this day, I go to Sovngarde.
Some gate guard you were!
They're reforming the Dawn Guard. Vampire hunters or something. In the old fort near Riften. Might consider joining up myself.
afford a septim or two.
Need a ride? Can take you to... Where do you want to go? Climb and back, and we'll be off. I can't wait here forever.
There's a nip in the air. Cold won't be good for my crops. Never is.
Halt! City's closed with the dragons about. Official business only. Fine. But we'll be keeping an eye on you.
We'll pay whatever it takes, but we must have more swords for the Imperial soldiers.
I just can't fill an order that size on my own. Why don't you swallow that stubborn pride of yours and ask Yorland Greymane for help?
I'd sooner bend my knee to Ulfric's Stormcloak. Besides, Greymane would never make steel for the Legion.
Have it your way. I'll take the job, but don't expect a miracle.
You look awful. Better not get me sick.
Come to chat with an old woman, hmm? Do your good deed for the day.
Wait. I know you.
Reshape this land, which is mine. I do this for you, Red Legions, for I love you.
I work with my mother. Sell fruits and vegetables. It's fun mostly.
Hello, friend. Bows and arrows for the mighty huntsman. Thank you very much for your business.
Did you know there are some fruits that actually grow better in the cold weather?
Got some good pieces. I don't claim to be the best blacksmith in Whiterun. Yorland Grey. Take a look. Don't Don't forget to check inside the shop if you need anything. Have you met my father? He's a steward up at Dragon's Ridge.
Was that really necessary?
Hello, friend. What are you hunting? Never mind. I don't want to know. Thank you very much for your business. Hagraven or Hor? Take a look. Farewell.
Fish and fowl. Treat yourself and your kin to a choice cut of steak.
Wait, I know. Oh,
Come to chat with an old woman, Do your good deed again.
Looking for my husband, Nazim? Check the Jarl's back.
They say Helgen got hit by a dragon. One of those horrors comes here. We'll be ready. Dragons I can handle. But this talk of dragons, world gone mad, I say.